This is 93.5 CHMR FM.
This year in sports.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Clubhouse
at CHMR.
Oh, get in the fast lane, Grandma. The bingo game is ready to roll. Take me to the dance. Kick up your heels. It happened. It happened.
Welcome.
We have a dance party every time. Every time.
You jumping the gun a bit there.
I got really excited.
Jumping the gun
over Christmas and all the festivities.
I hope all
I
you
missed
listeners
the
there
show.
had a great Christmas. A fantastic Christmas.
I wish too. I wish you all the best.
I hope you all watched the NBA. Hope you all watched the juniors.
Oh, the juniors have been great. I've been enjoying them.
You have?
Yes, I have.
The studio's a bit lonely here tonight because no special guest Johnny.
No.
We had Johnny last week, and there is we're back to our normal staff here now.
He has a life.
He does have a life. I think we're gonna have another treat next week, but that's just the hint for now. Just a little hint. A little hint for you.
We won't tell you yet.
We still have Katie. So
Katie's still here.
Oh, hello.
We're still in good standing. We're not doomed.
Not everyone's jumped ship yet.
We're not understaffed.
No.
By any means.
We're overstaffed.
Probably, yeah.
Next week we'll be in the new year.
Yeah.
And
2016, baby.
And then there's going to be a whole new year of highlights and big sports news.
Highlights, new year of
big stories.
Big stories, new year of the Clubhouse.
Yeah.
This is episode 8.
We're flying through them.
We've been doing this for 8 weeks now. That's right. No, 9 weeks. 9
yeah,
weeks.
because there was one off the air.
Because we let you down.
We let you down.
Took a little exam break, but you're going to have to apologize.
We had a bad game.
We're not going to apologize.
Every good team's allowed to have one bad game.
Exactly. It's like the Golden State Warriors. They still only have one loss.
Oh, yeah.
They had that one bad game.
That one bad game.
It wasn't a bad game for them. It was a good game for the Bucks.
The Bucks, too. The Bucks are the team to do it.
You know what? They are responsible for stopping the second biggest streak. Like, not only that one, but the one that happened before that, they also stopped.
Really?
It. Yeah.
They're the Giant Killers.
They are the Giant Killers. That happened to, I think it was the Lakers before then, but they stopped it again. And that was, I can't remember.
Giant Killers.
They did it. This week we're going to talk about, as Josh said,
this year?
Twice.
This year in sports.
This year in sports. And it was a pretty good year. What was the biggest standout?
There's a lot of them.
Sports?
There's a lot of them.
Do you have one that kind of...
I just feel like whatever one I start with, we're just going to dive in. And we have so much to talk about on all these topics.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so big. But we can always just jump in with the championships.
Sure.
The teams that won this past year.
Let's do it.
The big Super Bowl.
The big Super Bowl. The big Super Bowl that caused a lot of controversy afterwards.
Yeah. The Seahawks Patriots, right?
Yeah. That was... I can't even remember. That was a while ago now, but...
that was the beginning of the year.
See, the thing is about the whole Deflategate stuff afterwards, that's what got more attention than the actual Super Bowl
Unfortunately.
Victory. And that was happening the whole summer.
I say, to this day, one of my favorite sports highlights was seeing Richard Sherman's face on that interception.
Yes.
The reaction of all the Seahawks on that interception was amazing. Like, I'd play it in slow motion, and I would just watch it over and over again.
Yeah. There's
I wasn't even a Pats fan.
But you're forced to watch. You had to watch. Everyone has to watch the Super Bowl.
It's the Super Bowl.
It's obliged.
It's such a big thing.
It was funny because that play, it's been talked about before, but that was something that was in the bag for the Seahawks. It was game.
All they had to do was get that touchdown. And you really wonder. It's like, why did they shy away from playing? They have one of the top running backs in the game.
One quality move, and the coach afterwards, he took all the blame for it. It was a bad play. As he should. It
was a bad play.
You're the play caller. I mean, you could blame it essentially on two people, the back and not really on the back, because there's two decision makers besides like the defensive coaches and all that. There's the main coach, and then there's the quarterback. So they work together and make the plays. But the coach absorbed the blame, and they lost.
Well, they could have made that on a running play.
Yeah.
They had to just hand that off to one of the best running backs in the league, and
That's what makes that clip of Sherman
only
even,
mere
even
yards.
better. Because you can see in his face,
Yeah.
he was like, at the beginning of the clip, it's just waiting for it all to be over. Waiting to get your ring. Because it's there, it's in the bag. But nope, freaked it up.
and they were so confident about it.
Yeah.
It was just beautiful to see.
You could see
you
the
get to
moment
see-
where he realized we were so close.
You get to see those wonderful emotions.
Now we are so far.
Yes, you get to see those wonderful emotions when a team like makes a big comeback win, right? Or they have that Hail Mary pass and they get it.
Yeah.
But it's not so often that
When
you
they
get to
don't.
celebrate the emotions of like that's a big play and they just don't get it.
Yeah.
Like it's just taken away from them in the last minute.
I don't know if it's celebrating. We're just laughing.
We're not it's not celebrating it necessarily. It's
Yeah.
just it's fun to see the flip side of it.
Yeah,
As a sports fan.
as opposed to the victory that you see during the, say, Green Bay Packers Hail Mary over the
Yes.
Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
That was something.
Where it was just thrown like a last hurrah.
See, I feel like a lot of the good stuff this year happened right at the end of the year. I could be wrong. Like I could be just forgetting stuff, and we'll discuss the year,
Yeah.
both this episode and the next episode. So if we do forget stuff, we'll
come back to
Yeah.
it. But it's really funny. I find this season, now I'm not including the end, all the sports that had their championships finished
Yep.
at the beginning of this year, and then the new seasons have started. The new seasons have been ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like this new football season, hockey season, they've all been just so you never guessed. You never would have been like guessed that it would be this way. Everything's all topsy turvy.
the Stars, the Panthers.
The Panthers.
Yeah.
The Panthers going 16-0. Like that never would have been expected. Big giant teams like Green Bay has been just in the dumps.
Green
They've had
Bay's
a
been in the
horrible
dumps.
year and they haven't been able to stay healthy. If all these other teams the same way. It's insane.
And that trickles
No luck.
over to basketball as well. It's also
Same.
been a weird year in
For
basketball.
the Houston Rockets, this was a team that was thought to be a contender
Western Conference
going
Finals.
into it.
Yeah,
They
I
were gonna
believe
be
they got
better
2
this
victories over Golden State. And they're 16 and 17 now, I think. That's just shameful, man.
Well,
Like,
at least they're floating around 500.
yeah, you got that at least.
At least.
They lost against the Hawks last night, and it was completely winnable. But the Hawks are a good team, so there's no shame in that.
No.
Shall we take a quick break?
Yeah.
Do you want to hear music out there, people? Do you want to be introduced to quality music? Well, guess what? Here you go.
Travel into the future.
You're listening to the Clubhouse.
What ad was that?
As,
I have no idea.
That's
But
our
it was
fellow-
very interesting.
I really liked it.
I dig it.
It was upbeat.
I also dig the beat.
I got excited.
You know what's cool? A very refreshing news, not news bit, but story across this year.
Easier.
The Toronto Blue Jays.
Yes. I'm wearing my Jays shirt right now.
You got your Bautista jersey.
My
on.
Bautista. Captain Batflip.
He has polarized the country
The man himself.
in one season,
Oh, yes.
one very season. Do you know that during the playoffs, I think there was like 25% of the televisions were tuned in to the playoffs watching the Jays, or 25% of Canada's televisions
Oh, really?
were tuned into that. My mic.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Don't
We're
worry.
having a bit of technical difficulties here, but it's all good.
But it was really that much. 25% of the nation was watching that.
Yeah, 25%. So that's if you knew, 4 friends, 4 families, at least one of them had it on,
Ooh.
at the very least.
I know I did.
I really enjoy the Texans series, I must say. That's a new rivalry, and it's going to stay that way for a while because
You think?
it was so significant, man. The back and forth between the two dugouts and all that kind of stuff, and the dramatic. Now it's shameful. I can't remember what game it was, but
I think it was.
Game 7.
I think it was the Game 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. With all the throwing the. Yeah,
Right.
because the Jays did have a home field advantage. So they would have had Game 7.
The seventh inning that lasted 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I remember one of the main things that made it last that long was Russell Martin was throwing the ball back to the pitcher, and it hit off Sin Shu Chu's forearm. And then who was it that ran home? Anyways, a Texan scored, and they took the lead off that run, I believe.
Yeah. It was, I can't remember who it was that ran home, though. But they took the lead off of that, and then they had the biggest. After that, the Jays exploded.
Yeah. Well, was it
The bat flip.
Encarnacion that tied it?
I think so. And then you had the bat flip.
No, I think Encarnacion tied it, and then it went back to the Texans leading, and then was the big boom.
Yeah.
Decided it.
Took the lead.
And that wasn't a walk-off, right?
I can't remember.
I don't believe it was, but that wrote him off. That finished the game.
And it was
fantastic.
amazing.
Fantastic.
Oh.
And then we faced the Royals and just couldn't do it.
And how much more excited does that make you for this season?
A lot. We talk every week. We start off the show every week with a bit of Jays talk. It's usually the first thing we talk about, and we go over the roster and our speculations of what next year is going to look like and what we liked about this year and all that kind of stuff. And my leg's really loud.
No, you're good.
The technical difficulties.
No, you're fine. It's only in your
We're good.
headphones.
All right, it's all in your head.
It's all in your head, man.
But the Kansas City Royals, one of the controversies, we'll get into that later.
Yes.
Remember the pine tar with the back catcher of the Kansas City Royals? That was another bit of controversy this year as well. He was rubbing the pine tar off of his shin guard into the ball.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. Can't do that.
You can't do that.
I was on time with it this week.
You had it. You had it.
See, I could focus. There's less distractions, like special guest Johnny.
One could say you hit that one out of the park.
I don't think I've dropped that yet on this show.
No.
Not once.
Even there was a couple times where we talked about him too.
Yeah.
Kardashian never used it.
He didn't get enough
I thought
love
about
around
it.
here.
I never said it. Yeah,
He
he
doesn't
doesn't.
get enough love. One thing was, we talked about it last week with Johnny with the hat trick. That's another thing that was cool about this year. That
What?
Encarnacion's hat trick. Hat trick in a baseball game. And all the hats going
Yeah.
everywhere in the Rogers Center.
Very
And-
Canadian thing.
And 30 minutes delay because the staff had to go around with their garbage bags and clean
up
up the
all-
hats.
All the hats.
He didn't know what the hell was going on. But that was another cool thing that happened this year.
Yes.
One thing we could talk about is the Golden State Warriors winning over the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
The Golden State Warriors are really breaking out as the
They're a top team now. They are-
must-see thing. One of the must-see things in sports.
They've stormed the NBA and become that. I think they're pushing dynasty now. You see it you see it. You see it, yeah. You saw the same thing with Chicago Blackhawks when they came out. So It was a big dominant. The year they won the cup was dominant. And even then, like they were managed properly. Now they're a dynasty now. 3 Stanley Cups in the last 6 years. That's a dynasty team.
How much longer do you think they're going to stay as a dynasty?
As relevant, they still got a couple of years, I think.
Because they got some youngsters, not really youngsters.
Yeah,
like,
but not players like Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane's in his prime, and he's going to be in his prime for the next 5 years, I'd say anyway.
yeah,
But I think Jonathan Taves is more. He's always going to be a really good player, but it's only a matter of time before the decline kind of sets in. He starts coming off as a bit more like a Datsuk. Like Pavel Datsuk now, he's considered by all the players as the best player in the NHL.
Yeah.
All around.
Yeah.
But he's a bit older now. You can kind of see it in his play.
you can definitely
He's
see it.
fragile. He's like
he just came back
facing
off a
injuries.
hip injury, right?
He had surgery. Yeah, he just came back and he's playing well. But it's not that game changing. It's like the player that was a superstar, and they're back down to like great kind of superstar.
Good addition to your roster.
You can't really complain. You can't really complain about them because they're still a great player, but they just weren't at that pinnacle, their peak.
Yeah,
That won the championships.
they're not actually. Well, he's not he's not one of the guys that gets paid on the top 10 in the NHL, is he?
Yeah, Jonathan
He
Taves is now. Yeah.
No, Datsuk.
Oh, Datsuk, no.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say. He gets paid a decent amount, but not anymore. But I think he only just re-signed a contract a couple of years ago, so it was. I guess it was taken into account his age at that point, the over 35,
Yeah,
different kind of contract.
we got people retiring this year. We got Kobe Bryant. We got legends
Oh yes, it's the
getting
end.
bad backs.
Kobe.
We got LeBron getting back injections, taking
He's-
naps on the court.
I think he's already hit his peak. I think he's coming.
he's
He's over the hump now.
plateaued.
Yeah, he's plateaued. He's only going to kind of decrease now. I think
I don't know if he's going to decrease.
not so soon.
Just yet.
It might he might be at that, but I don't think you're going to see you're going to see any better.
Right. I get what you mean.
I think
I
we've
agree
seen
with
the
it as
best
well.
of LeBron.
Yeah. Now that's not to say that he's not going to win another championship because he's done it.
No, he will. I'm pretty confident he will.
The thing with this Cleveland team now that I think he needs to get he's only been with them a short period, and there's not outstanding talent on that Cleveland team. There really isn't.
No.
And you need talent to win championships. You need a complete team. Golden State has a complete team. Chicago Blackhawks have a complete team, and all the people that win championships have
They're
more
built
than
to
one
me.
key piece.
That's what I mean.
Right?
I feel like Golden State's built to me like they're built just like the Spurs.
Yeah.
The Spurs.
The Spurs, yeah.
Same thing. Like they're built as a championship team. Those dynasty teams that have all the pieces, like top players in every aspect of the game.
And the
They need-
Spurs might just win another championship too. Actually, well, they definitely will. They still have the talent that's young talent that's going to carry them on a couple of years.
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard's a future. He's going to be in a lot of All-Star games. And
players like Tim Duncan still.
yeah, Tim Duncan's probably going to retire soon as well.
He's
That's
getting
the
there.
thing.
He's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite players.
Timmy D, yeah. He's definitely
What a
one of my
class
favorites as
act.
well. Very classy.
Just a classy player.
He's not in your face. He's a smooth operator.
Smooth operator.
I don't know if he's as smooth as Marco Estrada.
No,
though.
I was waiting for you to bring him up. When we say smooth operator, that is the face that
That
comes to
man
mind.
holds the title of smooth
Just
operator.
expressionless. He gets on the field and he just pitches like a boss, and that's it. Like,
And I don't even know if you saw him interviewed by Sportsnet very many times after games. I don't remember him talking to the press very much.
Yeah.
I remember that one standout game he had during the playoffs. Him and Tulo, I think, helped win one of the games. They had a big part to play.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one press conference with him. I was really surprised to see it because you never hear him talk. Because I don't think he's quiet. It's just the press doesn't really approach him all that much.
yeah, or maybe just he shies away from it too.
Could be that as well.
Yeah.
Definitely not that way with Marcus Stroman and his bubble gum and cool hair.
He's all personality.
Absolutely.
He's a rock star.
He's like, we were talking about Golden State being must-see basketball. He's almost must-see baseball, man. Like,
Yeah.
The way he really gets into the game,
The entire
gets all fired up.
The entire Jays are.
Yeah.
It's such an exciting team to watch.
They're the
And
cannon.
Offense is
Mm-hmm.
that's the best offensive team in the league. They're just so fun to watch.
And it's not like crude offense. It's not just offense now. We have pieces. We've
Oh,
lost
yeah.
one of the biggest pieces, but we have pieces.
Yeah, but remember too, like saying the way the performances that Stroman put in at the end of the season give you hope because he wasn't there for the whole year.
Yeah. He will be a very good pitcher.
He's going to be a centerpiece of that team.
I love seeing him during the playoffs and whenever he get a strikeout, he just yell.
Yeah.
He just yell on the pitching mound.
The emotion just gets you pumped.
You don't see that in baseball because there's a different personality to the sport as a whole.
Oh yes,
But it's cool to see it. It's cool to see a young guy do all that. He got swag.
swagger,
Marcus Stroman, the swagger king.
swagger king.
What else happened this year, Josh?
Oh, there's so much that happened. It's we don't have a
There's
we
so
don't have-
much, but we're not sure what
We don't
it
have a
was.
little crib sheet in front of us for this week, so it's just a little funny thinking about it.
Yeah.
because there's so many things to choose from.
One thing that happened is Ronda Rousey
Oh,
Rousey died.
she,
I haven't said that in a
actually.
while.
She didn't actually.
She's still alive.
There's that one person listening in, just like Ronda Rousey died. What? Oh my god!
No, she's still alive.
Lost it.
Don't worry, it's all right. She's still alive. She's still healthy. She is on the cover of Ring magazine. If you want to pick that up,
Still going.
on the cover of a boxing magazine.
She's gonna make her comeback. I think she had a for that fight. A poor training camp, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It was evident to me. Thinking about it more and more, I don't think she was prepared to fight Holly Holm in the slightest.
Yeah, there comes a point when you get a streak going.
You just become overconfident in your ability to step into a fight
Yeah, there's
and
either
dictate it.
there's either the overconfidence or kind of the exact opposite. You get worried and more stressed about keeping that streak going. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but I guess in combat sports it's a bit different because it's not game after game. It's not a big list of games. It's your life that's on the line.
Exactly.
Not really your life, but I mean your health
Yeah.
and your consciousness. And you only fight probably, like 3 times a year, 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah,
And
it's more limited.
But she'll be back in the new year. And do you think she will win? Do you think she'll win right away? If she rematches Holly Holm, does she win?
If that's her comeback fight,
You'll hear it first here on the Clubhouse. Here's Josh's prediction.
if that's her first fight, I'm not too confident she will win.
No.
If she has a really good training camp and comes in prepared, then yes, she has the tools and the skills to do it.
Wait, I want to make a special segment of this prediction.
Yeah.
Tune in this week on the Clubhouse to hear Josh's prediction of the future of Ronda Rousey.
To hear. Here.
So will she win or not?
No.
Oh.
I don't think so. I don't think she's gonna beat. Like I said, there's a factor. I can't just look at like if she goes in prepared like she was the last fight, she's gonna lose.
Yeah.
But if she has a new game plan, if she trains hard enough,
That's the thing too. I get like the way it's hard to predict without knowing what the problem is.
yeah.
Right? Like was she just too good?
I just feel like Holly Holm
I
has
felt she
a
was definitely-
style.
yeah.
It's a style that just worked really well against Ronda Rousey. That's what it is.
I felt she was 100%, and there's no way you could change this with one training camp.
Yeah.
Completely outclassed in striking.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Completely.
But she had a style that just put out the fire that was Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. So unless Ronda Rousey comes into the next one, into the rematch, just with a completely different game plan and sticks to it to a T, something to work towards that complements her strengths and hides her weaknesses, then you're good. Then I think she can win it.
And one of the bad parts about her approach to that fight too was her overconfidence, and she wasn't focusing on her strengths at all in that
Because
fight.
when you're overconfident too, like that, you don't respect the other fighter's abilities. And when you don't respect their abilities, you're going to overlook things.
Yep.
The things that they can do to hurt you.
You know what you know,
And it catches you.
and you don't what you don't.
Exactly.
So you might as well not just go out there.
You know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know.
Top lessons on
Yeah.
the Clubhouse.
Like it.
You learn something new every time you tune into this show.
Oh, yes. Yep. Nope.
Another thing about MMA this year was, I mean, see, it's like I was saying before. It all seems to happen right at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Because Conor McGregor got his big victory over Jose Aldo.
That's just, I guess, because those fights were at the end of the year. But if we do want to talk about something earlier in the year that was very
Sure.
disappointing,
Let's do it.
We could talk about Pac Mayweather.
Yes. We have 3 minutes, so you want to leave that until after the break? I think we can talk about that for a while.
I have a lot to say about that.
A bit about Conor McGregor. That
Yeah.
could fit in 3 minutes for sure.
Oh, without a doubt.
Okay, you as a fight fan, do you like to see smooth operators or characters? If we were going from one end of the spectrum to another, if you had to choose between one side, what do you think it would be?
It had to be one of them.
Yeah.
In the, I guess for the,
Yeah, I mean,
in combat sports.
Yeah. We like a bit of both from time to time.
But I do like characters more.
Yeah.
The ones that are more entertaining are the ones, the Muhammad Ali's, and even though his style is so boring, the Mayweathers,
Yeah.
right?
Mayweather's style is boring, you mean?
Yeah. That's what I mean. Even though it is, because I don't enjoy it personally
Yeah.
myself.
No, it
I don't
makes
think a lot of
complete
people
sense.
do, but it works, and it's the characterness. It's his characterness. It's the character, and I've had a very festive Christmas. It's the character of Floyd Mayweather that makes it more entertaining.
Yeah.
Like the Roy Jones.
Roy Jones. That's the thing though, because there's another element of like being exciting.
Yeah.
There's I mean like, you have to respect the sportsmanship, respect the character. I don't know if you respect the character, but you're entertained by it.
Yeah.
And there's also excitement in like while you're performing.
Exactly.
Roy Jones had I don't know if
A
he was,
wonderful style.
Yeah. Awesome style to watch.
Very entertaining style to watch.
But that's the thing about Conor McGregor is like he brings that to the table for sure. The characterness.
The characterness.
And he has a fun style. People want to like him. It's just getting him to pass that test. Jose Aldo was the test. He passed.
And he passed it with flying colors.
13 seconds. If you knock a longtime champion out in less than a minute, even in a round, you're doing all right. I think so. And it helps that he's an international star too, or an international character, because that brings something different, like
It's
his whole
always good.
Irish heritage.
It's always good.
And him competing in Boston, it's I don't know, it's a cool thing.
It's
he
good
got
for the
going.
fans. It's good for the fans.
Gets everyone rowdy. Gets
Yeah.
everyone drinking a lot of Pepsi.
Some wobbly pops.
A lot of Pepsi in that crowd in Boston. We're going to take a break. When we come back, there's going to be a bit of talk about the biggest,
Maypac.
apparently the biggest fight of our generation.
Definitely. There's some sheepdogs.
Here we go.
On CHMR.
You ain't heard nothing yet. Wait a minute, I tell you. You ain't heard nothing.
You're listening to the Clubhouse.
Oh, what a great show it's been. Are you still there with us? Are you still out there?
I thought you were talking to me. I'm barely awake.
You're still here. The biggest fight of the century.
Hey.
That's what. No, I'm saying that in satire.
Yeah. It was labeled that. We're not going to say that it was.
No. Yeah. Well, in terms of
A
like
financial perspective, yes.
financials and hype and ticket sales and all that kind of stuff.
And it was a complete and utter disappointment. As
Okay,
Don
Don.
Cherry would say. You go out there, you do that, you disappoint the fans.
No, we didn't tell you that we're going to have Don Cherry in studio. So, very special guest this week. The fight lasted all 12 rounds. It went to a decision,
Like I was expected.
like was expected. And
The decision was expected.
it was not exciting. Actually, you know what? I don't even know if there's a highlight.
There was the thing too about it. Even when I was watching it, because I was watching it with a lot of people, and the hype built like going into the fight made every little thing that was done in that fight a lot more. It garnered more of an excited reaction than it deserved.
Mm-hmm.
Like Manny Pacquiao could have thrown a straight left and just like glanced off of Mayweather's like forehead, and everyone was like, "Oh, he almost knocked him out."
See, I love new fans being exposed to the sport.
It's great.
And it's fun, but it was such a bad fight for them to watch.
There were so many better ones.
I truly wish that was exciting, and like a couple years ago I genuinely think it would have been exciting.
Yeah.
I think it would have been both those guys going back and forth. And it would have been really tense with the really fast offense and like rapid defense.
Especially when they were both at their peaks.
No, we were talking about this like 3 years ago.
We had this exact conversation.
And it's
Maybe around this time of year, 3 years ago.
Like in their prime, it's such a fun fight to picture. Like Manny and
Manny's blistering speed and power.
we were thinking like maybe Floyd would get knocked down probably once or twice in the fight.
He'd still win it with a close decision.
Yeah,
something
right?
like that.
But it'd be
fun. But as long as it's exciting.
And it would go down to the stretch.
Yeah.
You know, like because Manny would win rounds late or something like that, or they'd rally. Or
You'll never see Manny face a better opponent than Marquez, I think. In the sense the fight was just that good.
Yes.
Like that is a stylistic fight. That's a fight that deserved to be on that spotlight.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
right?
a Manny Marquez fight.
Yeah. Like
But one of those, replace the Maypac with one of those, make that the biggest hyped fight of all time. You would not be disappointed.
Absolutely, and it's like that was a big market fight for Latin America and the Philippines and some places in the States, but it's just because where Marquez doesn't speak that well English, and he's not.
Yep.
I mean, he's very quiet.
Yep.
I mean,
He's an introvert.
almost not to the level of Smooth Operator. He's just super quiet.
Yeah.
And I love watching him fight, though. He can be like very skillful when he's fighting. He can counter. He can fight in the pocket. He can brawl. He can do everything.
It was just a style though that just made it so entertaining.
Yeah.
Because Manny's just complete aggressive nature, and the counter punches just made it so much more fun to watch. And sometimes Manny would land his combo, and then catch Marquez with one, and then you see like, oh, is he going to be able to counter this one now or not?
See, that's an ooh-ah fight right there.
That is.
And they were. We watched all.
Every one of them were.
Yeah. There was, I think the third one had no knockdowns, but that one was just
Still,
fantastic.
Hits landed, even though there were no knockdowns. Still,
Fantastic. The
fourth.
very first one, if for those who don't know, this is when they were in lighter weight classes, and Marquez got knocked down 3 times in the first round.
and still came back to draw the fight.
To draw it.
To draw
yeah,
the fight.
and like that's when you get knocked down 3 times in one round.
It's very hard to win a fight.
To win a fight and like to not get stopped.
Yeah.
Right? Because the ref is like, okay, can you stand on your feet?
Yeah.
Right? Like he's hitting you that many times, can you still stand up? And the second fight was just fantastic as well.
And even the funniest thing is, the last one
Yeah.
is the funniest fight because it's probably up until the knockout, it was probably the most one-sided I can remember any of them being.
Yeah. And
You know what I
it's
mean?
not, and it wasn't.
Like I was looking at it and I was throwing around. I was saying, "Man, he's winning all these rounds. Man, he's looking better. He's looking better. He's landing punches." He was opening himself up more though. He was going for that knockout, and then it's ironic that it ends up being him that gets knocked out with probably one of the most brutal punches I've ever seen landed.
Oh, leaned right, like
Oh.
perfect. Like he had his feet completely set.
His head like exploded.
Yeah, his head
yeah.
exploded and he died.
Yeah, he did.
But he somehow went on to have a pretty good career afterwards. Like he has some pretty notable wins. He won against Bradley.
He lost against Bradley, but both should have been wins.
Yeah. I'm using this word loosely, but he avenged his loss against Bradley.
Well, he's gonna have a third fight now, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Planning on it.
Yeah, that news is
His final fight.
that came out today. Timothy Bradley is fighting Manny Pacquiao for Manny Pacquiao's very last fight. That's a bit of relevant.
And you know what? It could, it could be worse.
Yeah,
Told me that earlier.
absolutely.
It could definitely be worse. I like that fight. It's still entertaining.
It could be Chris Algieri again.
That was just horrible.
That's awful. Chris Algieri got that fight with Manny Pacquiao for
He got the payday.
looking all right against Ruslan Provodnikov in a fight he didn't really win. I don't think so.
I think Manny Pacquiao would destroy Ruslan Provodnikov.
Yeah, Matisse did, but Matisse lost this year as well.
Yeah, he's had a tough go.
Weird year, exciting year. But the fight with Floyd and Manny, I'm going to give you a couple of opponents they had leading up to that fight now. Floyd fought Marcos Maidana twice. There's a bit of interesting stuff. That was in 2014. Man, it's been that long. Holy.
That's not even this year. Last year.
Marcos Maidana was viewed as very crude by like 90% of the people seeing that fight.
But he made an interesting fight.
Maidana got that fight for taking Adrian Broner's 0. He was the first person to give Adrian Broner a loss.
Yeah.
And that's how he got the fight with Floyd.
But he had an admirable fight, did he not?
The first fight was fantastic. And with Floyd. That's one of the best Floyd fights you see in a long time.
Floyd is probably one of the best naturally adapting fighters.
Mm-hmm.
If you see him, if he has any trouble with you the first time he fights you, he's gonna.
You don't have a chance.
You don't have a chance the second time.
He rematched 2 people in his career. And the first one, or Jose Luis Castillo, he fought him first. And so a lot of people actually think he won that fight. It's close. It's very close. And it's very similar to the Marcos Maidana fight. The guy's he has a very Mexican style, going forward, throwing a lot of punches. Some people think to see or fail to see that that's the effective style to go with Floyd.
Yeah,
just drown him in punches. It works, right?
Well, and that's what made the Pacquiao one side just stuttered. I'm so overwhelmed. That's what made it so disappointing because this is a fighter that throws a lot of punches.
Yep.
He is a volume puncher.
Yep.
And he usually lands them and hits very hard.
Yep.
And he did not do that. He failed to punch. Yeah. And listen,
then blamed it on his shoulder.
I saw a little thing ESPN had on their year-end article.
Yeah.
And it was talking about the big headlines, and it mentioned Mayweather versus Pacquiao. And this is what it reads, word for word, just so I don't get it wrong, ESPN, if you're listening. After beating Manny Pacquiao, heavyweight champion. What? It says heavyweight? I don't know if that's a mistake there, or this is on ESPN's website. Heavyweight champion Floyd Mayweather says he will retire unless he is allowed to keep fighting only one-armed boxers. So that's a shot at Manny saying afterwards, remember the whole thing with the rotator cuff.
Yeah.
And which still, I mean, I love Manny Pacquiao, but I still have trouble believing that he had a torn rotator cuff in that fight. He threw a lot of punches.
I think it was more. There was the, what was it? The news that came out about was it a cortisone shot or was some sort of shot for his?
Yeah, they wouldn't allow him to take.
They wouldn't, but that was the first time it was an issue.
Exactly.
Because apparently he's taken it in every other fight.
Yeah, first time. Yeah, it was an issue in
maybe
by the commission.
that was the thing, and that's why it came out after that fight was because he wasn't allowed to take it.
Right.
But it's really weird that wasn't allowed for that one. Mm-hmm. Unless it was a contractual thing.
Yeah. It's
I
a
can see
shame
that being in Floyd's contract.
It's a shame that like that's something that had to taint the image a little bit, as if it wasn't already tainted because of how bad the fight was.
Yeah.
If you want to see someone with an actual torn rotator cuff, there's a fight with Andre Berto, which Floyd fought just after Manny Pacquiao, I believe, and he had his arm down the whole fight. If you have a torn rotator cuff, you can't use your arm,
Yeah.
right? It's down like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what ESPN had. They're off about one-armed fighters, but he was throwing with two hands the whole fight.
He was still throwing punches.
So, I mean, ESPN. For one thing, Floyd's not a heavyweight.
No, he's not. He's a little far from it.
Yeah. Another big. We're talking a lot of combat sports this episode.
Yeah. Well,
Something
we
usually don't
we
do a
only
lot.
vaguely touch on them.
Yeah, every week we
But
just
we've
usually
gotten right
read
into it.
some headlines. Tyson Fury is a new heavyweight champion. That's a big one. We almost talked.
We talked
the hell
about
out of
that. Yeah,
one.
we talked that.
The big
We
fight.
were all about it.
I mean, the big fight with Canelo and Cotto was another thing that happened in the combat sports world.
That would have been a better fight to watch.
I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that actually
That should have been the biggest fight of all time. Mm-hmm. So many fights should have been the biggest fight of all time.
but not Floyd and Manny.
No.
They should have just made it 3 years ago so it wasn't built up to this magnitude. And
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been such a big deal.
They're not complaining though. They both danced all the way to the bank.
Absolutely. Floyd made, what, $200 million? I believe. Going home with $200 million. Josh, if you had $200 million,
Yes.
what would you buy with it?
I don't know. Maybe I do what Floyd do and just throw it around.
Yeah.
Or just put it in a duffel bag.
In obscene places?
Just put it in a duffel bag and
Obscene clubs on George Street?
yeah. I just show up there and have my own parties.
Oh, no. That's not a good... Would you stay in George Street and do it, or would you go to Vegas? and do
I'd
it?
stay in George Street.
That's even more crazy.
I would just have parties dedicated to me. Like party with Josh.
Yeah, and put like cool posters up.
Put cool posters up. Just
Where
like
it's like-
Floyd. Floyd does that, does he not?
Oh yeah, with bad green screens on Facebook and like Photoshop martini glasses and everything like
Like
that.
Floyd Mayweather victory party from his fight that happened 4 months ago.
Hosted by
He's still
Josh
do-
Greeley.
Yeah, he's still doing it. He's still having victory parties for the Pacquiao fight.
And he actually retired, which is a bit of a deal as well.
Jeez, his retirement tour will probably go on for like 4 years.
Do you think he'll come back? Josh, will he come back? Yes or no?
I think this might be the time. This might be the time that he doesn't.
Does not?
Yeah, I'd say
See, if I was in his position,
he'd be smart not to.
that 49 would annoy me so much.
I could see that though.
Like, and he tied Marciano's record.
How-
You want to beat it.
How would like? That's funny, but how like poetically like just would it be if he just came back for that last fight against like some random fighter and lost? Right?
Against
Like he's just that close
against
to,
Chris Algieri.
yeah, he's just like that close to making it like a big historical, and it just no.
Or he gets knocked out by Chris Algieri.
Done.
Like some light-handed puncher.
Yeah.
That'd be great. No, that wouldn't be great. I like Floyd. I'm glad Floyd,
He
was-
deserves all of the accolades in the sport that he's dominated. He deserves it all athletically.
It's
but
just such a shame that
I'm not a fan of him as a person.
no, he's not someone you'd want to hang out with
Yeah.
whatsoever. I wouldn't really want to hang out with Manny Pacquiao either. Too many family members around. He carries around at least 50 of his immediate family members
At all times.
everywhere
That's
he
his
goes.
entourage.
Yeah,
Family entourage.
not sure I'd want to go to that.
No?
I don't think I'd like Filipino food either.
No?
No, what is Filipino food?
I don't know.
Sports.
But you just jumped to that conclusion so quickly.
What? That Filipinos eat Filipino food?
On a sports talk.
That's so great. You know what?
We're all over the place today.
Manny Pacquiao, one of his resume leading up to the Floyd fight: Chris Algieri, Tim Bradley, Brandon Rios, Juan Marquez, and Tim Bradley again. And that's an all right way to end your career, facing Timothy Bradley and
Yeah.
facing him again as your last fight. And that fight, if you're interested, is in 3 months' time. So look out in the new year for that. How do you think that's going to go?
It can go one of two ways. Either he dominantly wins, Pacquiao does, and then just ends his career, which I wouldn't mind seeing. because he is a Hall of Famer.
That'd be a fantastic way to
Perfect way to end his career on a victory.
quality victory.
But or he's definitely past his prime on a very quick decline, and
Visibly
as a whore,
past his prime against Tim Bradley.
he was.
Yeah, or like
Or sorry, you could, well, even that, like, even you can even say it with when he fought Mayweather. Same thing. Like, he's past it. He's over that hump. He's on big old decline now. Mm-hmm. The longer he's only gonna I think he's only gonna embarrass himself the longer he fights and keeps fighting.
yeah.
Yeah, he's not gonna get the decisions anymore.
Here's a news article about hockey.
Yes.
Not a news article. It's just one of the highlights of the year. Inspired by the Blackhawks winning the Stanley Cup, first-year Cubs manager Joe Madden replaces the 1976 Dodge van he drives to Wrigley Field with a Zamboni.
Oh,
So does he drive a Zamboni?
he must. I don't know. This is the first I've heard of this.
I'm not even sure if you can drive a Zamboni out in public.
I didn't know this was a thing until just now.
Are Zambonis street legal? When did that happen?
I don't even think they go past. I'd
Yeah.
rather.
I've never
They
seen
probably
one.
go like 20 kilometers at top speed.
I was gonna say that even seems really fast for a Zamboni. Like, I don't know how fast they go, but man,
I just feel like they purposely get driven slower on ice because it's on ice.
that makes sense. And the little kids have to wave.
Yeah, make a show out of it.
Steph Curry and the Warriors follow up the Cross Bay Giants' recent tradition of winning a World Series championship every even-numbered year with a tradition of winning the NBA championship every 40 years.
What?
So that's the last time they won the championship 40 years ago. Exactly 40 years ago. The Warriors. And they were from Philly at the time, I think. I'm just reading some
Random-
quality headlines from
random
the
little
year
headlines.
from ESPN.
Nothing wrong
Thanks,
with it.
ESPN.
Nothing wrong with it.
I remember, Jordan Spieth had a good year in golf. Do you like golf, Josh?
I don't follow it. I'm
Jordan
sorry.
Spieth, Jason Day,
I'm sorry.
Brooke. Who's the Canadian girl? The young
I know who you're talking about.
Brooke Henderson, I think her name was.
Well,
No,
it's not. It was not my topic of choice.
no,
I can't sit with you and talk golf.
we can't. None of us know.
I can
that
barely
much about
play golf.
We'll pretend we know golf. We'll pretend we know tennis.
The last thing I remember about golf was the whole Tiger Woods
Yes.
having an affair
But I
fiasco,
feel like
and
that
that
was-
was a really long time
That
ago.
wasn't
I
even
think.
the past year.
No, that was.
It's no longer this year in review. It's this decade in review.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it was this decade,
Yeah.
but
This decade in review.
On the Clubhouse.
Tiger Woods.
No, Jose. Okay, but in conclusion, my favorite parts of this year are Jose Bautista's bat flip.
Oh, without a doubt.
I really enjoyed watching the Rockets in the playoffs last year, even though they didn't win. And Vladimir Klitschko being dethroned as the heavyweight champion of the world. Mm-hmm. And listen, I'm a huge Floyd fan, but I'm very glad that he's gone from the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna open the door. It's gonna open the door now for
for other people,
more
and
talent,
it's just gonna,
more top
you
fighters.
know, lessen the bull poo. So those are my standout. Those are my favorite moments of the year.
You know what? And here I'm just gonna jump ship quickly to hockey, but just just looking back on one single year too. It's a great year for Leafs fans. In the sport of hockey,
For the coaching situation?
for everything, for how much has changed in the past year.
Yeah.
Say from this time last year they were like an 18-wheeler off a cliff with
Yeah.
Randy Carlisle still as the coach.
Right. It was almost laughable.
It was laughable, and it was like the third time it's happened in a row every year. Just a disappointment, and that's when all the changes started happening.
Yeah.
Coach fire, the hiring of Brendan Shanahan.
So maybe it is a Toronto thing, seeing the success of the Blue Jays. Well, some of those things happened before the Blue Jays' success.
We're gonna look back on this year, especially for Toronto sports, and be like it was the changing of the guard. Everything kind of just flipped. Like the Raptors just came off of a playoff run, 7 games with the Nets like the previous year, and they were going for it.
And they signed some
They're
talent.
trying to follow it up now.
They got JV locked down, and they got Damari Carroll.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're looking good. MLSE throws a lot of money into investing in soccer for the city.
Oh, yeah?
For TFC, Toronto FC brings in Sebastian Giovenco, who ends up being the
MVP.
the MVP for the league.
Yeah.
Top player, and he was dominant, utterly dominant. Tied for league goals. He won MVP because he was tied for league goals with the names escape me. Kamara, I think is his name. He plays. I can't even remember the name he plays. What team
I think I know who you're talking about. Does he play for Quebec?
No, they were from not from Montreal, but they were they were in the playoffs. They made it far in the playoffs. Columbus Crew, I think he plays for.
Okay.
I think, but they were up there tied in goals at the end of the season. But the reason why Giovenco won the MVP is because he had a ridiculous amount of assists as well. Like he was just an all-around player.
You got to respect all of the aspects of the game.
Yeah.
Not just goals.
All-around player. And he was dominant. That's two Toronto sports. The Jays make a couple of just shifty moves at the deadline.
Very shifty.
And then turn their team into a complete contender.
And just
so the only one now is the Leafs. Mm-hmm. And they're on the up and up.
The Argos, but they recently won a championship anyway, so. Yeah,
and they're on the up and up. And now you got players like Mitch Marner shining in the World Juniors.
Right.
World Juniors is looking great. Mm-hmm. Have you seen any of the games?
Not one.
Not a single one?
I'm a bit...
it's so entertaining.
I'm not fond of it. Or I'm not fond of myself for missing some of them.
I find it's so fun to watch because the hockey is great quality, but because you got younger players, they're not NHL ready yet. They're usually a bit deficient in the defensive aspects of the game. That you see so much skill on display.
Oh yeah,
but
that
it's
makes
so
sense.
high firing, high shooting. Mm-hmm. It's just it's more entertaining.
Right,
it's great entertaining hockey, and
it's what everyone talks about at the GM meetings every year for NHL.
And especially those prospects for the Toronto Maple Leafs are looking really good in this tournament.
One quick thing I want to mention before we call it a night here on the Clubhouse.
Yes,
is the Panthers losing their streak. And that's it. That's it.
Just sad.
It's not a good thing, but
that's it. We're already at the end of the time.
We are at the end of the time. I haven't dropped this. We have. Drop the needle! And if you want to follow along on Twitter, always just fire up the Twitter machine and enter in Clubhouse CHMR. Thanks for joining us.
Have a good night.
We'll be back next week. See you later, folks.
Bye.